Trying to get into the Apple ecosystem these days feels a lot like trying to buy a house in a gentrified neighborhood. You look at the price tag, you laugh nervously, and then you settle for something much smaller than you actually wanted. For nearly a decade now, there has been a massive hole in Apple's lineup, a missing rung on the ladder. Think about it. Since they killed off the 11-inch MacBook Air, and then the 12-inch MacBook, the entry fee for macOS has been stuck at $999. Sure, the iPad tries to help. Apple loves to tell us the iPad is a computer. But let's be honest, try writing a 20-page thesis or managing a complex spreadsheet on a tablet, and you'll realize pretty quickly that a touchscreen just isn't a laptop. Meanwhile, Google has been absolutely feasting on this mistake. They've flooded schools with cheap, plastic Chromebooks, capturing an entire generation of students who now think a computer is just a Chrome browser in a plastic shell. But, according to a massive convergence of supply chain leaks and silicon benchmarks, that is all about to change in March 2026. Apple is reportedly preparing to drop a nuclear bomb on the budget laptop market. They call it the MacBook E, and if the rumors are true, it's going to cost just $599. Now, you're probably thinking, a $600 MacBook? What's the catch? Is it made of cardboard? Does it run on a hamster wheel? Here's the genius part. The secret sauce isn't cheap parts, it's the processor. Reports suggest this machine won't use the M-series chips found in the Air or Pro. Instead, it's going to be powered by the A18 Pro. Yes, the chip from the iPhone. Before you roll your eyes and click away, hear me out. This is actually brilliant engineering. The A18 Pro is a beast, but in a phone it's trapped. It's stuck inside a tiny glass sandwich with no fan and nowhere for the heat to go. After a few minutes of heavy gaming on an iPhone, the chip has to slow down or throttle so it doesn't melt your hand. But take that exact same chip and put it inside a 12-inch aluminum laptop chassis? Suddenly, you have physics on your side. The aluminum body acts as a giant heat sink. This means the A18 Pro can run at full speed, indefinitely, without ever needing a fan. So, what kind of performance are we talking about? Well, look at the benchmarks. An unthrottled A18 Pro effectively matches the multi-core performance of the M1 chip that changed the world in 2020. But here's the kicker. It has 47% faster single-core performance. That means opening apps, loading web pages, and general snappiness will actually feel faster than an M1 MacBook Air. For a student or a casual user, this isn't just good enough, it is overkill. So, what does this thing look like? Rumors point to the return of the 12-inch form factor. If you remember the 12-inch MacBook from 2015, you know it was impossibly thin and light. It was a design marvel that was just ahead of its time. But unlike the cheap Windows laptops you find at Walmart for this price, Apple isn't switching to plastic. They are sticking with an aluminum unibody. This is huge. It means the device will still feel like a premium product, sturdy and cool to the touch. And they are bringing back the fun. We are hearing reports of a vibrant color palette: pink, blue, orange, yellow, and green. Think back to the old iBook G3 or the iPod Nano days. This is pure psychology. In a classroom that is a sea of gray Chromebooks and black Dell laptops, a pop pink or sky blue MacBook becomes a status symbol. It stops being a boring school tool and starts being a lifestyle accessory. It's the same trick they pulled with the iMac, and it works every time. Now, to hit that $599 price, there are compromises. The screen will be 12 inches, likely a standard LCD, not the fancy mini LED you see on the Pros. And it will be locked to 60 Hz, so no ProMotion scrolling. But for writing essays and watching YouTube, it's perfectly fine. We have to talk about the specs that might make you angry. The base model is rumored to start with 8 GB of RAM. I know. In 2026, 8 gigs feels almost criminal. However, this seems to be a calculated move to protect their more expensive laptops. The A18 Pro has a powerful neural engine for Apple Intelligence, but AI needs memory. By capping the MacBook E at 8 gigs, Apple is basically saying this is a consumption device, not a creation device. You'll be able to use AI to summarize your notifications or help rewrite an email, but if you want to run complex local models or do heavy 4K video editing, you're going to hit a wall. And that's the point. If you need more power, Apple wants you to spend the extra $400 for a MacBook Air. Also, don't expect Thunderbolt ports. The A18 Pro is designed for USB speeds. You'll likely get 2 USB-C ports capable of 10 gigabits per second. Is that a deal breaker? For a pro photographer, yes. For a student who just needs to charge the laptop and maybe plug in a thumb drive? Not even a little bit. So why does this device exist? Why now? It's all about the classroom. Right now, schools buy Chromebooks because they are cheap, usually between $200 and $300. But those things break, the hinges snap, the plastic cracks, and after 3 years, they are basically e-waste. Apple's pitch to schools and parents is going to be about total cost of ownership. It's a fancy way of saying buy nice or buy twice. They will argue that one $599 MacBook made of metal and powered by Apple Silicon will last a student from 6th grade all the way through high school graduation, 6 or 7 years of life, versus buying a new plastic Chromebook every 2 years. Plus, it's a trap, a good trap. If a kid uses a MacBook for 6 years of school, They build up a library of photos, they get used to iMessage, they store their files in iCloud. When they graduate and go to college or get a job, are they going to switch to Windows? Probably not. They are going to buy a MacBook Pro. Apple is willing to make less money on this hardware now to secure a customer for life. There is one victim in this story, and it's not Microsoft or Google, it's the iPad. Think about it. If you walk into an Apple store in 2026 and you see a MacBook E for $599 next to an iPad Pro with a keyboard that costs $1,300, which one are you buying? The MacBook has a better keyboard, a real file system, better multitasking, and it costs half as much. This device effectively kills the argument that the iPad can replace your laptop. It forces the iPad back into its niche as a tablet for artists and media consumption, while the MacBook E takes over the productivity crown. Apple has a famous saying, though: if we don't cannibalize ourselves, someone else will. They would rather you buy a cheap MacBook than a cheap Chromebook. So, mark your calendars for March 2026. If these reports hold up, we are looking at the most disruptive computer launch since the M1 Air. The Everyman Mac is finally coming back. It's going to be colorful, it's going to be controversial, and it's going to sell like absolute hotcakes. But what do you think? Is 8 GB of RAM a deal breaker for $599, or is the price right for a basic Apple laptop? Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.